Hey guys, welcome to Battle VIP Pass. Today info called Chilling Dominion featuring the new Chien-Pao EX from PAL the Evolve with a Hail Blade attack doing 60x damage. For each water energy you discard from your Pokemon, you get to discard any copies, any amount as you want from any of your Pokemon with this attack for only 2 water energies. So it's very powerful. You get to do unlimited damage with this attack, doing massive knockouts as long as you can discard enough water energies. So it's basically the same as Raichu V except for an Ice type. It is an Ice type weak towards Metal, and that's actually really good against Rhydon, just because Rhydon is not able to kill us with one hit if we have the Bravery Charm attached. So Bravery Charm allows you to add 50 HP to your basic Pokemon's HP, and that allows us to tank even more damage, allowing us to survive an extra turn for us to hit another huge knockout on the next turn with another using the Hail Blade a second time with the same Chien-Pao EX. So it also has the Shivery Chill ability, obviously allowing you to search your deck for any 2 water energy and put it into your hand every single turn if you have it in the active spot. So this ability only works if Chien-Pao EX is in the active spot, and you only get to use it once per turn, but you also get to use it for each copy in play. So if you have, for example, 3 Chien-Pao EX in play, or if you can get extra copies into play on a single turn, you actually get to switch it into the active and use the ability a second time with a different Chien-Pao on the same turn. So you get to use the ability more than once if you have more copies in play, and that actually allows you to dig for more energies early game before playing your Super Energy Retrieval to basically recollect the energy from the discard pile and attach it onto your Lumineon. So the main combo for this deck is obviously our Hail Blade with our Swim Freely. We want to be using our Finneon with the Oceanic Accompaniment ability to attach any amount of water energy from our hand freely onto our Lumineon with the Swim Freely attack. So Oceanic Accompaniment, if you guys are not familiar with this card, the Silver Tempest Finneon has the ability that allows you to attach any amount of water energy from your hand as often as you like during a turn freely from your hand onto your Swim Freely Pokemon. And since Lumineon has the Swim Freely attack, we actually get to attach, if we have a Finneon on the bench, in addition to a Lumineon, we get to attach as many energies as we want into play from our hand while also satisfying the attack cost. So how do we satisfy Chien-Pao's attack cost? Since Chien-Pao obviously does not have the Swim Freely attack, we have our Energy Switch, which is the same as Mewtwo V-Star with Lunatone. Lunatone Solrock and Mewtwo has the same strategy, and we are playing this strategy for our Chien-Pao. Instead of using Excalibur, we are using our Swim Freely and also Energy Switch combo to get enough energies in the game for us to hit big knockouts over and over every single turn non-stop. We also have one Raihan for security. Just in case we don't get our Energy Switch or Irida, we can actually play our Raihan to attach the extra energy from the discard pile to prepare our next attacker, so that we get to sustain the attack chain without having to break our flow and do knockouts every single turn without fail. We also are playing our Irida to search for any water Pokemon, helping us evolve our Lumineon easily, while also getting a second Finneon onto the bench so that we get to use this ability to attach onto the Lumineon. If we have only Lumineon on the bench with our Chien-Pao, we can't actually use Finneon's ability. Obviously, we need this Pokemon. We need an extra basic in play for us to be able to attach as many water energy as we want from our hand. And if we can search the deck with our ability, we can attach up to 4 energy in a single turn. If we have the Switch, we are playing a lot of Switch cards with our Irida, helping us search for the item as well. We got our Switch card, Cross Switcher, Escape Rope Switch. We got a lot of Switch cards in this deck. We also are playing 2 Bravery Charm, helping us add 50 HP to our Chien-Pao, tanking and preventing them from doing a knockout against our Chien-Pao, helping us survive an extra turn to do another big knockout with the same EX. Next, for the setup, we have our regular cards, 3 VIP Pass, 4 Nest Ball, 3 Level Ball, 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball, 2 Ultra Ball to get any evolutions, including our Lumineon. It is a Level Ball friendly card, and that means we get to use Level Ball to not only search for Finneon, but also our evolution. We also get to search for any water Pokemon using Irida, obviously, helping us evolve and also bench our Finneon. Also getting extra copies of Chien-Pao for us to use the ability more times every single turn. We also are playing 1 Energy Recycler to help us shuffle back 5 energy into the deck so that we get to use Chien-Pao's ability to search for them back into our hand and attach them onto our Lumineon with our Finneon's ability using Swim Freely combo. We also have our Klara to retrieve water energy as well, in addition to the 3 Retrieval. Super Energy Retrieval is really good just because you get 4 extra energies every single turn if you have this item into your hand. And since we're playing Irida and Arven, we can easily get those cards into our hand. Arven helps you search for your tool card as well, which is really great, helping us survive extra turns with our Bravery Charm as we said. We have one boss for the extra control. We also have our Cross Switcher to target any Pokemon on our opponent's bench. We are playing also one PokéStop with one Worker and one Lake Acuity, just in case they play Path to the Peak to lock our ability, just because this is a rule box Pokemon. If they play Path to the Peak, we are not allowed to use Shivery Chill to search our deck for any 2 water energy every single turn. So we have to be careful about that. We also have one Klara to retrieve our Pokemon energies, helping us revive our Lumineon if they do a boss to knock it out on the bench. Finally, we also have one Radiant Venusaur for the draw support, one Manaphy for the bench barrier, and 11 basic water energy. So that's all for the deck list. Now let's go for some gameplay and see how well this deck works. Okay, let's go for our first game versus Miraidon EX. We got the new Chien-Pao, and we're rocking it with Lumineon using our Swim Freely combo. You could actually think about playing Palkia as well. Palkia V-Star obviously for extra 3 energy from the discard pile after discarding after your first Hail Blade. Because we are discarding water energy and it's actually perfect for that V-Star power, and we are not actually playing any V-Star cards for this deck, unfortunately. So I would recommend possibly swapping the Radiant Venusaur, just because it's not really drawing that many cards anyways. If you swap out a Radiant Venusaur in addition to an item for the Palkia V-Star, only one copy would do. That could actually guarantee you, more discards in a game. But I feel like we have enough though. I feel like we don't need the Palkia, except maybe for Chien-Pao to attack non-stop, just because it also helps you attach energies onto your EX instead of having to rely on Raihan and Energy Switch to satisfy the attack costs. So Palkia would definitely help out a lot. If you're not playing Excalibur, Palkia is actually a good option. So you could think about swapping the Radiant Venusaur and an item for the Palkia V-Star, if you guys really want to go for it. But for my list, I prefer just sticking to those one price supports, helping us draw cards with Sunny Bloom and also helping us attach energy using our Oceanic Accompaniment. We also have Irida to get our Energy Switch into our hand, so I feel like we should be fine. All we need to do is attach energy on the first turn. If we got 1 energy using our Shivery Chill to dig the deck for energies on the first turn, we don't really need to play that many energies because we got a free search every single turn. So if we start out with a Chien-Pao in the active, we can easily attach 1 energy on our first turn. Going first or second, we at least got an energy in the game, and then on the next turn we get to attack already. Obviously if we go second though, we can't attack on the first turn, but even with Excalibur you can't attack anyways on the first turn, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really, change the game in any ways. So playing Lumineon is definitely way better than Excalibur, just because it is a stage 1 as opposed to being a stage 2. You don't need Rare Candy, but you do need Irida. Irida helps you get your water Pokemon. You can even play Level Ball for Lumineon. So Level Ball is actually really helpful because it helps you bench your Finneon as well. So you not only need the stage 1 evolution, you also need the extra basic just for you to play the ability to attach energy freely from your hand. So it's basically like a Frostmoth. Right, it's basically like a Frostmoth, but only allowing you to attach to the Lumineon or any other Swim Freely card. You can also think about playing Dewgong for this deck, but obviously we want to be focusing on attacking with Chien-Pao. Since we are using the EX to search for cards, might as well just attack with it. And since we are discarding each time we attack, we kind of need to retrieve energy, multiple times after using the attack. But if you can play the attack without retrieving for the first 2 strikes, and then use Irida to search for the super energy retrieval, that would be ideal, because you would essentially be saving your items for later. But we have a lot though. I don't think we need to be worried for this list, just because we have the space for 3 energy retrievals and also 1 recycler in addition to a Klara. So I feel like we're fine. I feel like we're very fine. We got a lot of Iridas to help us search for the item. We're solid for this deck. So if you play Palkia, you kind of need to evolve it. Whereas Radiant Venusaur, you just need to bench it for you to draw cards, potentially getting you the Irida to play the Energy Switch. And I feel like if you get Irida for Energy Switch though, you can't really search for the Super Energy Retrieval. So there are there are upsides and downsides to playing Radiant Venusaur, and there are also upsides and downsides of playing Palkia V-Star. Really depends on your preference. I prefer drawing cards with the Radiant ability, just because you may have the V-Star price if you're only playing 1 copy. Anyways, here comes the Magnezone on the bench. So they are playing either Magnetic Tension. They're probably going to do Magnetic Tension to deal with the Manaphy, and then do Split Star on the next turn to finish off the Lumineon and Finneon on the bench. So Magnezone V-Star has the Split Star attack that allows them to basically snipe for double knockout on our bench supports. We got to be careful of that. Magnetic Tension actually allows them to deal with the Manaphy as well, which is a very good combo. It's kind of a built-in bench snipe, right, for V-Star, which is really nice. But they only got that one shot though, and there isn't many cards for Lightning that allows you to hit for the bench snipe, except maybe Zeraora V-Star, but you kind of have to choose which V-Star attack to play. Either Electro Star or Lightning Storm Star. You can't really play both in a single game, obviously, because it's a V-Star power. So we got Electric Generator though, Electricity Generator for every Lightning decks. For the new Lightning Pokemons as well, from Poly Evolve, Pokemon Card 151, Obsidian Flames. Like, Electricity Generator is going to be a huge thing. For all the Lightning EXs, for all, you know, Lightning 1 price decks as well. Miraidon is going to be crazy throughout the entire Scarlet and Violet generation. It's going to help for all the Lightning decks. Like, Miraidon is going to be a huge thing for the rest of the season. How annoying is that? Miraidon. From the very first set. It's kind of like Zacian, isn't it? Zacian V with the Brave Blade. What's it called again? Intrepid Sword. Is so annoying for the whole fucking season. Like, Zacian V has been so goddamn annoying. And they finally came out with the V-Star at, you know, at the last minute from Crown Zenith, which is kind of depressing. I was hoping for the V-Star a lot earlier, but they came out with it at the very last set. Isn't that annoying? So now we still have the Zacian V, but it's a Fairy type. Well, we actually have a Metal Zacian V from Crown Zenith as well. The basic Zacian. We also have the Fairy type one from Celebrations, which everyone's using for Gardevoir EX deck. For Zacian V-Star, obviously you want to be playing the Metal type one if you are going for the V-Star. But anyways, getting back to this game. We've got Irida in our hand with our Getsis. Can quite easily play any of those two for, you know, extra prize. I think we got enough damage in the game right now. We just need to play Irida. So I'm not sure what to search for though. I feel like we should be searching for another Finneon, just in case they play a second Magnezone. We need to be digging for the Klara at some point. So that's the bad thing about this deck, is that we can't really search for the right supporters. We're not playing Lumineon V. We're not playing Pelipper. There is a new Pelipper that allows you to search your deck or discard pile as you evolve the Pokemon from your hand for a supporter card. And that's actually quite useful. Only we don't have Scoop Up Net though. So without Scoop Up Net, I'm not sure if Pelipper is that good of a support. Because it's a one-off support and you don't really get to remove it from your bench spot. It's not like Bayonet. Bayonet is still pretty good though. From Lost Origin, you get to play the ability to retrieve a supporter card from the discard pile while also removing it from play. You know, by losting those two cards, allowing you to play Mirage Gate or any other cards like Sableye that, you know, relies on having extra cards in the Lost Zone. So it's actually a really good ability. So we got extra energies from the deck using our Shivery Chill. And here comes the switch for... We actually did a double switch with Irida. So that we get to play the ability and also attack on the same turn. Just because we are not actually allowed to attack with the second copy, the second Chien-Pao. So it's actually quite difficult to play Chien-Pao without Excalibur. Just because satisfying the attack cost is kind of difficult without Palkia as well. You know, I don't like playing one copy though, as I said. That's the reason we don't have the V-Star. But it could be nice to have, you know, that option for energy acceleration. It's always nice to have in any water deck. We got our Winter deck sleeve, by the way, for our Ice type Chien-Pao from Paldea Evolve. Haha. The best EX from this set, in my opinion, because it's way too overpowered, isn't it? You get to do unlimited damage if you have, for example, 10 water energies in play, the max damage output you have is 600. 600 kills off anything. Like, there isn't any Pokemon with 600 HP or that can tank that much damage. So imagine that. Imagine if you could have 10 energies in game with your Swimfritty and Oceanic with your Finneon. If you attach enough energies in play, you could do up to 600 damage. We got 12 water energy in this deck. Obviously, it's not that easy to attach 10 in a single turn into play. We may have, for example, 7 or 8. So the max damage output is probably like 480 damage, which is still gonna kill off any EX or any VMAX with one hit. Any Pokemon dies with Hail Blade. Like, how powerful is this Pokemon? Madness. I guess the only comparison is Gardevoir EX with Drifloon. Gardevoir EX is crazy right now because Drifloon can hit a maximum of 300 damage. For a 1 price basic, you can do 300 max damage with the Bravery Charm. You get to basically place up to 10 damage counters on it to, with Gardevoir, with Psychic Embrace, basically hitting a maximum of 300 damage with your Balloon Burst. It's quite ridiculous. All you need is 5 energies in the discard pile. 5 energy attached with Psychic Embrace for you to hit 300 max damage for a basic Pokemon. Basic 1 price Pokemon. And if they don't kill off your Drifloon on the next turn, if they don't deal with it, you got another hit with 300 damage. If they do a boss on your Gardevoir, you can attack with the same Drifloon for another 300 KO. Like, that's gonna be the new Meloetta, the new annoying 1 price Pokemon that can do silly damage. All you need is 1 tool card. All you need is 5 energy in the discard pile, a Gardevoir EX in play, and your tool card. And we can easily search for the tool using our Arven. So it's very, very easy to play Balloon Burst, Gardevoir, which is actually, a copy of the old card Morpeko. We used to have a Spiritomb, by the way, that does 30x damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon, which is the same as Single Strike Morpeko from Sword and Shield. And now for Scarlet and Violet, we have our Drifloon with the same attack, basically copying those cards from Sun and Moon. They're basically reprinting that attack onto a new Pokemon. Obviously, the attack cost is different. For Spiritomb and Morpeko, is only 1 darkness cost. It's actually the same type as well. But for Drifloon, is finally a different type, and it requires 2 Psychic. So you kind of are forced to play Gardevoir with it, or like Raihan Experience Share. If you play Experience Share though, you can't really do the Charm. And we don't really have cards like Single Strike Abomasnow or Kricketune for Psychic types, helping us boost its HP using an ability. We only have the Charm for now, so we really can't be using Experience Share. Gardevoir feels like the only way to power up Drifloon. Except maybe Giovanni. There's going to be a Giovanni's Charisma for the next set as well. Pokemon card 151. I can't wait. Giovanni is going to be a big thing because it allows you to basically accelerate energies onto your active Pokemon while also slow down your opponent by putting an energy from their active back into their hand. So basically giving yourself an energy boost while also sabotaging your opponent's active Pokemon by dropping their energy by 1. You get to choose any energy as well. You get to attach a double turbo from your hand onto your active. You get to choose a lucky energy or a V-Guard from your opponent's active and put it back into their hand, which is crazy. So that's really, really fun. Like, Giovanni is going to be a huge thing. There's even a Persian that allows you to search your deck for a Giovanni every single turn. Like, that could be a legit optional support for, decks that play Giovanni as the main energy accelerator. And it would be really fun to see how that card fits into the meta and how it's going to change the game. I'm really excited for that. Okay, here comes Miraidon in the active. Miraidon can actually one-hit, one-shot our Chien-Pao if we don't have the Charm of Courage. I keep calling it Charm of Courage. It's actually called Bravery Charm. Quite weird, isn't it? So we had Heart Charm for X and Y, I think? Or was it Black and White? I'm not too sure. So Heart Charm allows you to reduce 20 damage done to your Pokemon with that tool card attached, which is a really, really old card, a really, really old tool. But now we have Bravery Charm instead of Heart Charm or Big Charm that allows you to add 50 HP to your basic Pokemon. It's kind of like Cape of Toughness, except it has no limitations. Cape of Toughness doesn't work for your GX Pokemon. It does work for V though. So it's kind of interesting. So it's really cool that Pokemon V gets to benefit from Bravery Charm as well. Whereas for the last season, for Sword and Shield, we actually saw Cape of Toughness working only for Basic V or One Price Basics, not for GXs. So it only makes sense that for Scarlet and Violet, the Bravery Charm should only work for EX Pokemon or One Price Basics, but not for V Pokemons. It shouldn't work for Blissey V, for example. But it does. Like, I'm loving that. I'm loving that there are less restrictions for Scarlet and Violet, and the game is less tight. It's less crazy. We do have the insane Gardevoir EX and Miraidon kind of swallowing up the format, but there are always ways to counter that. Like, there's nothing you can do about a meta. Like, it's always going to be broken in some way, but there are always, hidden gems in the game, like certain combos that nobody ever expect works, and, that not just works, but also works against powerful meta decks like Gardevoir. Like, you have no idea. I love going against the flow. I don't like copy-pasting someone else's deck. I don't like just, using the best performing deck just because someone else says so. It's not the best performing. It's only, the best performing just because you think it is. Just because you don't really work hard enough. You don't really challenge yourself to find other ways of playing the game. There are always, hidden gems, like, hidden combos that you don't really, you can't really discover until you experiment and, refine the deck hard enough to be able to get to a point where you discover a really, really powerful rogue deck. There are always new ways of playing the game that you don't really expect, and you should be finding out. You should be exploring new pathways that would be evolutionary instead of just following everyone else, following the best performing deck, and just kind of go for wins. How boring is that? How lazy would we be if we just copy-paste someone else's tournament deck list and just expect to get wins over and over without actually bothering to challenge ourselves and search for new ways of playing the game. Anyways, let's just get back to the game. So we just bossed their Flaffy into the active, and they can't really retreat using the Beach Court because it's not a basic Pokemon, it's an evolution. So they kind of need to dig for the switch. They just played a research. If they got the switch, they got another 2 prize, but all we need is to play the Escape Rope at the right time. We have enough energies to knock out the Miraidon though, I think, for the next turn. If we play the Klara, I think we have enough to knock it out. We got an energy on both Chien-Paos, on the active and the bench. So even if they switch right now, I feel like we got a knockout on the next turn because they have 3 prize remaining and all we need is 1 more knockout. We got 1 prize left. Oh, they got 5 prize remaining, I think. And they just conceded. 5 prize is a lot, or is it 4 prize? My bad. So we won against Miraidon for our first matchup. Pretty ridiculous. Now on to the next one. Now we're up against a Arcanine EX with Armarouge, using its Fire Off ability to move any amount of fire energy from the bench onto their active as often as they like every single turn. So all they need is 1 Armarouge and a Magma Basin in play every single turn to basically charge up the Arcanine EX, and also Delphox, they're playing that as well, with Radiant Heatran to do big damage for a final knockout. So they have a lot of damage in the game. They got Defiance Band as well with Arcanine, hitting 280 max damage. So they can actually kill us if we draw our prize a lot faster. They can play the Defiance Band to knock us out, doing 280 damage to knock out our Chien-Pao even with our Bravery Charm attached. So Arcanine is doing a lot of damage, 250 for only 3 fire, and they got experience share as well for this build. So it's a really, really interesting build. Experience share for Armarouge is perfect just because you can, reattach the energy back onto the Armarouge and then move it into the active for the next attack, for your next attacker. So Armarouge experience share is kind of like a match made in heaven. And it's basically going to set the premise for all fire decks for Scarlet and Violet for the whole season. Kind of like Miraidon, isn't it? Unless if they came up with new fire Pokemon, new fire abilities, which are way better than Armarouge, like a stage 1 that allows you to attach freely from your hand. I don't think they're going to come up with that so early though. Maybe they're going to bring back Welder, you never know. But I feel like it would be too early for that, for them to reprint that card back into the format. And it would be kind of annoying to see 𝑽𝒊𝒐𝒍𝒅 back in the game as well. To be honest, I kind of hate that card with the Fire Crystal and the Giant Hearth. I can't really deal with that. It's so annoying. Like, it's so fucking annoying. Everyone keeps playing the same thing. 𝑽𝒊𝒐𝒍𝒅, Giant Hearth, Fire Crystal. It's like the basic bitch combo for any fire deck. And honestly, if you don't play it though, your fire deck is not going to be as strong. It's just the reality of the game. You kind of have no choice but to go for it. If it's there, you have to play it. So it's definitely nice to see something different for a change, like Chien-Pao EX helping you do so much damage for a water Pokemon instead of Magcargo GX or Raichu V for the old set, or even Turtonator from Sun and Moon, the old one price basic that does 50x damage for each fire energy you discard from your Pokemon. You get to discard any amount from any of your Pokemon as often as you like for that attack, and you actually get to do the same effect for Chien-Pao, except it's doing 50x instead of 60x. So it's quite interesting that they are kind of switching around between different types. Turtonator was a dragon type, and now they're, flipping it into a water type and ice type, which is fun to see. And I'm happy to see change. I'm always happy to see change. I don't like the game to stay stagnant for the whole time. I'm happy to see new effects as well that will hopefully change the direction of the game. We have seen the direction change multiple times, obviously, already, but it's nice. It's always nice to see, a breath of fresh air. So here comes the Delphox. For the bench snipe, they don't have enough energies though. They need the Armarouge and Basin. Double Turbo is not going to work for the Delphox. It's going to work for Radiant Heatran though, because it has double colorless costs. So Delphox needs 2 fire and 1 colorless for, I forgot the attack, Mystical Fire I think? Magical Fire or something. Allowing you to hit 120 damage onto the active and also one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Kind of like Raikou, the old amazing Raikou, for a fire Pokemon V. So for this list, we have our 𝒂𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒄 helping us support Radiant Venusaur's ability, but eventually I realized that if you are playing that many Chien-Paos and Finneon, if you have so many copies in play, if you want to stack Chien-Pao's ability and also have an extra copy of Finneon for security, just in case they do a boss or do a bench snipe to knock you out, if you need a bench bot for Manaphy as well, you may not have enough space on the bench to play your 𝒂𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒄. So that's the reason we don't have a 𝒂𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒄 anymore. For the final list, we have only one Radiant Venusaur and no other supporting bench Pokemon. Just for the extra consistency and also to be smart at the game. Right? If we need to discard our hand just to draw cards with Sunny Bloom, we got our Ultra Ball, Super Energy Retrieval. After attaching from our hand and doing the knockout, we would essentially have less cards in our hand for us to draw with Venusaur using our Radiant ability. If we draw from the prize though, we have to take that into account. If we draw 2 cards from the prize, we may only be able to draw 1 or 2 cards with our Sunny Bloom, but that may actually help us. It may be enough though, just because we could actually get Irida from the prize or Super Energy Retrieval as well. We have PokéStop also to dig for extra cards if we don't have a supporter in our hand, so that's definitely going to help. We are also removing energies from the deck by using our Shivery Chill ability every single turn, so eventually we would be getting item or supporter from the top deck. That gives us a higher chance of getting Irida or any other important item cards that we need, like Super Energy Retrieval or even our Level Ball for Lumineon. We could even get our Switch Cart helping us, dig for even more energies using our Chien-Pao's ability. By stacking it, switching multiple times. If we switch though, we're not actually able to attack with a bench Chien-Pao unless if we had the foresight to attach onto the bench Chien-Pao on the previous turn, allowing us to play the switch for double, using our Shivery Chill ability twice in a single turn before actually attaching onto the Lumineon and also onto your second or third active Chien-Pao. So right now we're actually forced to play our 𝒂𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒄 just to draw that 1 card. We don't have Venusaur, so we're actually going to play it instead. We have a lot less Irida for this list. I'm not sure why. This was one of the first, first experiment when I first started building off my Chien-Pao Swim Freely combo. I started off with only 2 copies of Irida in the deck, which is really, really bad. So we need at least 3. If you're playing 4 copies, it would, it would allow you to get it a lot easier, a lot faster. But eventually, I decided on 3 copies because we don't really have the space for it. If we play 3 Irida and more energy, super energy retrieval, we would eventually get it anyways because we have also a recycler and a Klara. Those cards are gonna help, mid-stage of the game. And since you're playing that many copies, it's actually gonna show up at the right time. So now we're playing 3 copies of Irida and also Super Energy Retrieval, and that actually gives them a higher chance of showing up early or at least mid-stage, mid-game, giving us, the proper supply that we need at just the right time after discarding. After the first few strikes, after the early discard, we get to instantly retrieve using that item, using our Irida, and recharge our Lumineon for us to do big damage with Hail Blade over and over again. So obviously, if your first Chien-Pao survives the hit, you should be attaching the energy onto your second Chien-Pao. Think about charging up your second one. If you can power up the first Chien-Pao, your first EX, with the Bravery Charm, make sure you do that so they get to survive 1 turn. If all you need to do is survive 1 turn with the first EX, and that secures you the energy for your next Chien-Pao for you to attack on the next turn after the first one gets knocked out. And then all you need to worry about after that is retrieve the energy using your item or even your recycler, switching multiple times to dig for the energy back into your hand and attach onto the Lumineon, helping you discard massive energy for massive damage. So always save 1 energy on your active Chien-Pao just in case they do a boss on your bench. So if you have, for example, 2 energy on your active Chien-Pao and 1 energy on the bench, EX, while using your Hail Blade, you can actually choose to discard all energies from a Lumineon, as much energies as you want from Lumineon, while discarding an extra 1 from the active Chien-Pao, so that if they kill your Chien-Pao, you won't be wasting 2 energies. You would be only wasting 1 water energy from the active Pokemon. Even if they do a boss, you're only wasting 1 energy. You should be conserving your energy as much as possible because we don't have much resources. We only are playing 12 basic water energy in this deck, and with 3 super energy retrieval, we're not actually able to play it that many times, so make sure you conserve your water energies. Retrieving the energy is not actually a big issue because we have a lot of cards to do that. We have a lot of ways to search for it as well. But if we're unlucky enough not to get it at the right time though, if we need Irida to get the energy switch, if our first active Chien-Pao gets knocked out, without any way of powering up our next one, if we don't get enough energy to attack with our second Chien-Pao fast, we may need to play Irida to search for the energy switch, and that means we can't actually retrieve the energy anymore. We will need to search our deck for energies using Chien-Pao, and that's the reason why I say we need to conserve our energy, just because if we have that extra 1 already attached, we could do extra 60 damage without having to switch multiple times to get even more energies in the game by searching the deck, and we may not have enough energy in the deck as well if we've done the attack on the last turn after discarding multiple energies with our first EX. So it's very important to save your energies. I can't stress it enough that 1 extra bonus energy is going to count a lot for the long run, giving you extra damage for an extra knockout early with your Hail Blade. So here comes the Arcanine doing 250 damage for the knockout. And we got no charm on the active. We have 14 damage counters on it anyways. So the active Chien-Pao is definitely expired. We gotta charge up the next one. Think about our next Pao. We got actually the charm on the second one, and they didn't do a boss. No Defiance ban on the active as well, so I think we're good. They have no more Arcanine on the bench, but they do have the Radiant Heatran though, so we gotta be extra careful. They got the Radiant Heatran doing big damage with Magma Basin, helping them gather not just the energy but also damage counters on that Pokemon. Overturn. Eventually they got enough energies to attack. Eventually they got enough damage counters to do a knockout. So Radiant Heatran is a ticking time bomb. It's a very, very smart combo, isn't it? Heatran, Arcanine, and also Armarouge. Very, very interesting. They also got Entei for the draw support with Bibarel, obviously. So here comes our Super Energy Retrieval. Nice new art with the silver borders. So we got 4 energies from the discard pile for us to attach with our Finneon onto the Lumineon. And we actually don't have a secure, we don't have an extra Finneon on the bench for security. So if they do a bench snipe, we don't even have Manaphy. If they kill off our Finneon on the bench, if they play like a Radiant Greninja to do Moonlight Shuriken, knocking out the Lumineon and also the Finneon in a single turn, then we got no way of charging up, of powering our Hail Blade for big damage using our Oceanic accompaniment. We can't play Finneon's ability for one turn, and that could be all it takes for Lost Box to basically end our game by destroying our strategy, forcing us to hit to a roadblock by, you know, not being able to attach enough energies to do enough damage to kill off the Giratina V-Star or any other V cards on the bench like Dragonite that we need to knock out. If we don't have enough damage in the game, we can't discard enough energies, we don't have the knockout, then we can't draw enough prize for the win. So obviously we need the Finneon, and that's the reason why we don't have the space for 𝑦𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒄. So we have to be extra careful. Every single card that you add into the deck matters, and you have to think twice. You have to give extra thought into what you add into the list. You have to think it through. There is only so much you can think of though while building the deck. You kind of have to go for physical gameplay. You kind of have to experiment and, play as you go to basically modify the deck and make it better. So always go for trial runs. Like, trial and error is the best strategy. If you keep testing out the deck over and over, eventually you're gonna come down to a list that is virtually perfect against the meta. You can counter any strategy. You have tech cards, you have consistency, you have everything built into the deck to make for a really, really good list. A tournament worthy list, honestly. But that's the advice for all the deck builders out there, all of those who are excited and, excited to test out new cards, who really have the passion for building decks of their own, that they can really call their own, and, having original inputs into the deck and, putting your own personal flavor into the list. I love doing that. I love playing decks that I can call my own. And I don't like copying lists. I mean, that doesn't really show my own personality. Where is your own personality? That's how we show ourselves in the game. That's how we show our face. Come on. I mean, where's the fun of just playing meta decks all day long? Where is the fun of that? You're just going on a power trip. Like, come on, guys. Please. Don't give in to the matrix. Don't give in to the system. Don't just follow everyone else. Like, how lame would that be? That's not an accomplishment. If you win with the meta deck, it is not an accomplishment. Like, building something from scratch and come hell or high water, finding a way to make it actually work against the meta, that would be an accomplishment. And I know a lot of players out there who are interested in building decks, who have built very, very powerful rogue decks that are actually good against the meta, and that actually works in standard. So I'm very, very proud of those people, just because they actually go against the flow and is actually going against the system with a fully functional deck. It can work, and it has worked for many people, but only if you make it work. Only if you put in the work. So we won against Arcanine, which is swell. So I'm just gonna end the voiceover right here and if you guys focus on the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Today we are featuring our Chien-Pao EX, the new EX from Poly Evolve, with a super cool Shivery Chill ability, allowing you to search the deck for any 2 basic water energy and put it into your hand every single turn. It's kind of like the old Evolving Skies Eldegoss that allows you to search your deck for any 2 basic energy and put it into your hand every single turn. We have Chien-Pao instead. For a basic Pokemon, you get to search for water energy, but only if it's in the active spot. We also are playing our Lumineon with our Finneon, the Swim Freely combo, helping us attach energy from our hand freely onto our Swim Freely Pokemon, and that allows us to power up our Hail Blade for big damage, doing massive knockouts with our Chien-Pao. Only problem is we need enough energies on our Chien-Pao to do the attack, to satisfy the attack cost. We have our Energy Switch and also our Raihan. We can also play Palkia V-Star as well to power up our Chien-Pao to attack every single turn non-stop. But for this deck, instead, we're playing more Irida and more Energy Switch, with also our Bravery Charm to help us tank more damage, helping us survive one turn with our Chien-Pao, allowing us to charge up the next one by attaching from our hand easily to satisfy the attack cost without having to play our Energy Switch. Switch. We also have one Raihan for the energy acceleration option with our Lake Acuity, PokéStop, and Worker to remove Path to the Peak so that we get to play our Rulebox ability every single turn, searching the deck for energies and also playing Irida to get super energy retrieval so that we get to retrieve 4 energies at a time to play our Hail Blade for massive knockouts over and over every single turn. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye from the people. Enjoy life.